People ask, there are so many different types of yoga out there now. What is Ananda Yoga? Nowadays, when people say yoga, they're thinking of the yoga postures and the physical practices known as hatha yoga. So any physical practice is hatha yoga, whether it's moving in and out of, holding a pose, or using a particular breathing technique to control the energy in the body. However, there are many different styles of hatha yoga out there today, so it's important to find a style that works for you. Ananda Yoga is a very traditional practice of hatha yoga. We move into and out of and hold the poses in an inward, gentle way. We coordinate the movement with the breath as it moves harmoniously with the energy that flows naturally in the body. We use the postures to release tension from the body so we can sit comfortably for meditation. Tension is energy that's blocked somewhere in the body for any number of reasons. So we also want to release this blocked energy in order to draw it inward and upward toward the brain. Then we can use the energy to meditate and raise our consciousness, with the ultimate goal being uniting our complete awareness and identity with the ever-new love, joy, and bliss of creation, of God. After all, that's what everyone is looking for, happiness that doesn't end. You notice I keep mentioning energy, so what does this have to do with yoga? Our physical body is necessary for us to be on this earth and to live our lives. It behooves us to take care of it, to keep it strong and healthy. But an integral part of our body and of yoga is the recognition that we are also made of energy. It's the energy that makes the connection between body and soul or spirit. Science accepts that physical matter has energy at its core in every cell, even in the minerals, the plants, and the air. So the existence of energy within the physical world is a well-known fact and shouldn't be thought of as strange at all. We know that when we have an EKG test on our heart, the electrodes are measuring and charting the electricity in the heart. The same with an EEG, which measures the electrical impulses in the brain. The electrical impulses are ever present, moving through our nervous system. When energy gets blocked in the body for any reason, whether it's a physical reaction or caused by our thoughts, it creates tension. When we stretch the body, we lengthen the muscles, the limbs, and the knots of tension are released to a lesser or greater extent. You'll find that if you stretch a tight area of the body, it feels lighter when you release the stretch. This is because you have released the tension, and now the energy is flowing more freely. So in hatha yoga, we want to release the tension, free the energy, and draw it toward the center of the body. Then we want to raise it upward toward the brain. We do this by sequencing the postures in certain ways and using the breath with this intention. We bring the energy upward through the physical and energetic bodies. We feel an increase and upliftment in our energy. Our thoughts and moods become positive, and we create a sense of well-being. But even more importantly, when we raise this energy toward the brain, we raise our consciousness. So what do I mean by raise our consciousness? Raising our consciousness is the original and true purpose of doing any sort of yoga practice. How our energy moves influences greatly how we perceive life and how we respond to life's events. If we have the habit of low or downward moving energy, we will feel depressed, lethargic, unmotivated, and plagued by negative emotions. One example of directionally downward moving energy is how hard it is to think or even stay awake after we've finished a heavy meal, because the energy needs to move downward to the stomach and digestive organs. When our energy is moving upward, it makes us feel more alive, more enthusiastic, more joyful. So using the yoga postures and pranayama techniques, that is, using the breath to move the energy in the way we want to, will help us to create a happier, more fulfilled, and more successful life. Here are two examples of a simple yoga posture and a simple pranayama technique and how they help us to become calm, centered, and more happy. Take, for instance, Padahastasana, the jackknife pose. Bending forward from a standing position, we stretch the back of the legs. This action stimulates the circulation of blood in the legs. It releases tension in the back of the legs, the back of the knees and the thighs. With our will, we visualize this energy being released and draw it upward to the base of the spine. Then this subtle energy which has been released is assisted by gravity to flow upward along the spine toward the head. The yogis recognize that the tension held behind the knees and thighs are related to the fight or flight response that is created by stress of any kind, that need to get away from things that we're afraid of. So we release this tension and we release the message that we need to flee, and we are able to relax on physical, mental, and emotional levels. This then brings calmness, peace, and happiness. Focusing this energy in the mind helps the brain to develop intuition and wisdom. Now let's take a breathing technique which facilitates the control of energy, called pranayama. A slow, deliberate, diaphragmatic breathing. We can practice lying down, sitting up, or standing. We relax the belly and inhale into the belly, filling the lower lungs. By drawing the breath down into the lower lungs, we more fully oxygenate the body because there are more blood vessels in the lower lungs. This clarifies the mind physically, mentally, and emotionally. By breathing deliberately and comfortably and increasing the oxygen in the body and the mind, we turn on the relaxation response and shut down the stress reaction in the body. This inhibits the release of stress hormones which attack the body in various harmful ways. By choosing how we breathe, we take command of the energy that moves the breath, and we can use its flow to determine how we will feel in body, mind, and emotions. Slow, deep breaths calm and center our thoughts and relieve stress. Strong, rapid breaths, or focusing the breath in the nostrils in a particular way, energizes and wakes up the body and mind. The important thing is that you are in command with these techniques. So where does meditation fit in with all of this? Now that we have drawn the energy upward, we sit still and focus it in the brain. Physically, we focus at the prefrontal lobes, the most developed part of our brain. Yet esoterically, this is also the highest spiritual center in the body, where we can work directly. By focusing our attention and our energy here, we further magnetize the energy in the body to flow upward. Perhaps this is why people use the term enlightenment. Though it takes a great deal of effort to quiet the mind, it does happen more and more with practice. Then, in the growing silence, gazing upward into that spiritual center, we begin to taste that joy, that inner peace, the calmness and love and wisdom, which are 5 of the ways that the ancient teachings of yoga speak of as the manifestations of divine spirit, of God. When we feel these qualities, we are experiencing the oneness with that spirit because it is flowing through us. The masters of yoga say, try it, experience it for yourself so that you know what is true and that you may live in that truth and in that joy. With regular practice of this holy science, we gain the direct experience of that joy, of what spirit is, and we come to know that we are one with all that is.